Basically, I have the original kind of vision for what, say, a certain piece is going to be, or at least certain aspects of it. For example, say for Future Retro, the first animation on our first DVD, and I'm thinking, okay, triple neck guitar, so there's double neck guitars that people see, but triple neck guitars with necks coming out at different angles, and I sort of wave my hands around like I'm doing now, sort of describe it to Dave, and sometimes I scribble stuff on paper that's like trying to be a drawing, but it's just a mess, but it's enough to communicate a raw idea to Dave. Then he'll sit there and he might generate 10 or 15 different drawings of triple neck guitars. And then I go, oh, I really like the necks from this one, but the body from this one, if we can borrow the headstock, and then what if we do this, and a little more hand waving, and then he might do another couple of revs. But pretty soon he's going to want to jump into full 3D and start modeling it, because I think he really enjoys modeling and moving things around in 3D more than sitting there and making little marks on a page.
Yeah, you get a lot better feel for 3D, how things are working in 3D, and when you jump right in. And so we kind of prototype things in a rough way in 3D after doing the sketches, and then start roughing in lighting and even some materials at the beginning just to get a feel. Whereas
Dave and I work just constant back and forth, and we don't necessarily have things flow through a pipeline of step 1, step 2, step 3. We're going back and forth, and I might fiddle with a little music and then say, hey, you know what, now that I've played this music, turns out this instrument, 12 notes isn't enough anymore. I need like 15. Can we put like another 3 over here? And he'll go, oh, okay, well, how about we, and then now it has 15, and then next thing you know, I don't need all 15 after all, just 14. And, so it sort of continues and evolves like that. It's a very, very organic kind of process.
Yeah, we tweak things right till the end. I mean, constantly trying different colors on different things and different lighting, and there's a lot of freedom there. That's really nice way to work.
Dave and I both have a hard time sometimes letting go, so we just want to do one more tweak because we just want to get it really perfect.
My favorite part of the process is building all these instruments, building these cool sets for them to live in, and making them look really nice and look like they've been used. We try to make things have wear marks on them a little bit, and like the drum heads and that kind of thing. And so it's fun to just be able to build these worlds that then come to life with the music, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, I like the part of when we first prototype an individual instrument and we're just rendering the initial tests of it. We have actually some of this stuff on the bonus material of the DVDs where you just see these individual instruments by themselves on a black background and nothing else. That's actually my favorite part, just to watch one instrument playing by itself with no other distraction, no fancy camera moves and lighting. And if that instrument by itself is interesting enough to sit there and watch in a loop playing over and over, then I know that we're onto something that's cool. On average, I would say, in animation will take us, if we just measured it out and we were working just on that, I would say 4 months. It could be 3 to 5 months, maybe, but averaging about 4 months. We don't work on just one at a time. We get into one and we sort of, really get on a roll with that, but then at some point, one of us will get inspired or stuck, one of the two, and jump to something else. And that it's very possible, it's actually happened quite a bit, where he's working on one animation, I'm working on some totally other thing. I might be working on music for something we haven't even modeled yet, and he may be working on this whole set of drums for something that I haven't even thought of the music for yet. It really could go either way. When we finally completed the whole video album, when we look back, we go, wow, that took us 3 years, but how was it all divided up? And who knows? It's hard to even see where the time went because it's just so intertwined and so many things happening in parallel. Like I might have some various musical ideas I'm working on, and we want to build some instruments that are specifically designed to play that particular piece of music. And more often than not, it's actually the opposite, where we get inspired for some some crazy instrument idea or set of instruments, and we're working on developing those instruments, and I haven't even started writing the music yet. And the music will eventually sort of come out of, all right, now that we have these instruments, you know, what kind of music should they be playing? Resonant chambers. Dave was building this whole kind of crazy, wacky, multi-necked, stringed lute, harp, crazy thing. And it was one of those situations where I'm working on some other stuff, probably some software, whatever I was doing, and he's, okay, you know, can you give me some feedback? What do you want this to do? Is it going to have a bass, or is it, you know? And I kept saying, I don't know, but it looks cool, keep going. Just make more. Make it cooler and stranger and more wacky. Finally, we had this crazy instrument that was absolutely gorgeous looking, and at that point I had to start figuring out, well, all right, what does this thing do? How, you know, what music does it play? But we've also done it exactly the opposite. For example, Future Retro, the music was completely done, I think, 2 years before we ever started trying to visualize it.
We try to, you know, not have too many things that are like the same, so we try to have a variety of different types of animations, different looks. Some are sci-fi, some are more of an old-fashioned look. I spent a lot of time just making things look dirty and weathered and antiqued a little bit. The pogo sticks guys get off their stages and travel around and try to mix it up.
Of course, the other thing is having not just the variety of the visuals, but the variety in the music. It having turned out that our audience being as diverse as it is, you've got people who say, oh, I really love the acoustic stuff. Could you do more acoustic stuff? And then the next email we get is from someone saying, can you do more of the electronic stuff? That's my favorite. I really like all the science fiction, lasers and all that stuff, not so much the acoustic. And then someone will say, oh, do more classical music. The classical piece you did was the best. And someone else will say right after that, you know, I liked everything except the classical piece.